How's it going, everybody? This is Opez Gaming. Some time ago, I uploaded a video saying that this will be the first and last Honkai Star Rail Summon video. In said video, I stated that I could continue streaming or making content for HSR if I get Kafka's light cone. For this small discussion video that was originally a part of the summon video before the script ended up being bigger than I initially thought, I'm here to talk about my feelings towards Honkai Star Rail and why this will be my last HSR video, period. First and foremost, I did end up getting Kafka's signature light cone after grinding a bit off stream. So that's good, right? I can play this game a little longer? Here's the thing, I did end up getting her light cone, and I did say on stream that I would continue playing HSR if I got it. The weird thing is, once I did get it, I felt a little empty. No satisfaction or deep-rooted anger, just nothing. But why? I got what I want, why am I not happy? Or capable of feeling anything for that matter? It's been on my mind since I got the light cone, and I might have an idea why. This has nothing to do with the quality of the game, because even as far as a gacha game goes, it still exudes a level of quality and polish most mobile games could only dream of. It ain't because it's a gacha game, because I'm still playing Nikkei nearly a year later, and I could go on with Genshin, but let's keep it focused for now. It could be the current roster of characters, but I don't think it's the only major reason, especially when I had more fun playing Snowbreak well after I made that ranking video, and that's when there's only one character I cared about. Well, if it's not for the aforementioned reasons, then what? It's the overall game design and the world that surrounds said RPG mechanics. Now, keep in mind, this is going to be a semi-different kind of video than I'm used to working on, so instead of heavy editing, there's just going to be some gameplay in the background, most likely going to be gameplay of Honkai Star Rail in the background while I go and, well, ramble on, really. The only thing I should note, which I really shouldn't be saying this at all, but there are people out there, this is solely based around my opinion and my opinion only. You're more than welcome to play HSR for however long you like. This is just my personal opinion. Before I get any comments saying that I'm not a fan of turn-based RPGs or that I'm complaining because the gameplay is not immediate compared to Genshin or any action RPG, let this be known. I like Persona 5, and especially 4's gameplay. South Park The Stick of Truth and Bug Fables managed to give me that turn-based gameplay itch I've wanted. Fate Grand Order was my go-to turn-based mobile gacha game for the second half of the 2010s. Even felt compelled to make a quote-unquote vlog video in a different channel before this one. Though I'm not giving you the link, please don't ask any further. Hell, Paper Mario on N64, regardless of how people felt about the simplistic gameplay mechanics, is not only one of my favorite games of all time, it shaped how I enjoyed games. Through them, I was able to feel a level of enjoyment from turn-based RPGs that I likely wouldn't get from any other game. Honkai Star Rail being the exception. Based on my experience, it's less to do with the fact that it's a turn-based RPG, and more of how it approaches the turn-based RPG formula for a gacha game. For reference, in Genshin, players can have a full set of characters that can complete various puzzles by progressing through the main story and meeting certain requirements in other modes, like the Abyss. All players can have one character of each elemental type by the time they visit the next nation. As I'm writing the script, not all players can realistically obtain at least one character of each type without relying on the gacha mechanics. So far, there are 3 imaginary type characters released. One can be attained through the standard banner pool as a 5-star, another is a limited event character that is only available for a limited time, and another is recently obtainable as a 4-star. So, realistically, there's only 2 imaginary type characters in a given time, but one you can get if you're lucky, and the other you can get, well, if you're lucky. Because just like Genshin, Honkai doesn't have a pity system for 4-star characters. Much like how I'm still pining for Mika or Kirara in Genshin, even if I continue playing, I'll likely won't see Yukong for a long time, even with the rate up. Actually, that's not entirely true. You can get Yukong by playing through Forgotten Hall, much like Chinke, but if you want her without dealing with that, you're getting Jack. Granted, you can get Welt if you still have your guaranteed choice from Standard Banner, but that would only kick in after 300 warps are completed. Only then are you given the choice by any 5-star character. Now, one can make the argument that it's not necessary to have a full set since there are no puzzles that require a specific elemental type like Genshin, but I suppose I'm spoiled on that front since Genshin gave me one character that represents each elemental type, functionality be damned. And the story. Okay, I don't have that many bad things to say about the story. If anything, I feel that I'm too early in the game to make any real judgment calls revolving around the story and characters. With that said, I have no doubt in my mind that it'll be pretty good if it follows a similar structure like Honkai Impact 3rd. Compared to Genshin, however, there are a few problems. I will always say that Inazuma's questline is the most underwhelming arc in Genshin's story, but at least it made me feel something. Maybe a little bit of resentment, but it is something. From where I'm at, Honkai Star Rail's story within the 10-hour mark doesn't intrigue as much compared to the opening hours of Genshin. Now, I don't need people to die or have the writers inject melodrama every 10 minutes like in Mass Effect 2, but I need to have a feeling beyond simply saying, oh, that's kinda cute, or hey, that's kinda cool. I don't speak for everyone, nor will I ever, but I want to see characters interact and share feelings with one another. There's only so many times I could be wowed with another world-ending plotline compared to a personal story. Funny enough, as I'm recording this, I recently finished Halo Infinite's campaign, and the conclusion I came up with was eerily similar to my opinions of Halo 4. While I didn't care that much about Plot A, save for the last hour of the campaign, I like seeing the dynamic between the Master Chief and the weapon. Kind of like the relationship between Chief of Cortana in 4. To put it in terms people of the Honkai Star Rail community could understand, imagine if we get a moment with March 7th where we explore more of her as the player traverses through the icy world of Eurilo 6. Because of the way that she came around initially, wouldn't it be interesting to see if this icy world reminds her of anything, if there are any memories that would be dredged up from that? And perhaps through that, we can get some questions answered, such as, what are her upbringings? How did she come across the Astral Express team? Most of that can't be explored just yet because memory loss. How convenient. It's almost as if that the writers haven't decided yet on what they want to do with March 7th yet. Or perhaps if they do, it likely won't be until a few years later or so, or whenever the game is about to close. Yay! Then again, there's always the character stories found in the character menu, but it's not the same as witnessing it in-game. If I wanted to read descriptions of what takes place in games, I'd rather play Mass Effect 1. Shifting gears for a bit, whenever I stream games like Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail, I would attempt to stream story content exclusively unless I want to perform a summon session for a character I desire. 9 times out of 10, it would be me streaming my reactions to the recent most story chapters of a given game, and the reason why I do that on a weekly basis is because, well, I have a full-time job, so it's a miracle that I'm able to do this for one. The other is something I learned as I continually stream for about 3 years. Grind sessions and repeatedly beating the abyss ad nauseum without a gimmick isn't exactly enticing content, at least for me. For someone who has perused content for Honkai Star Rail, that would sound weird because compared to Genshin, there's far more things to do like tackling the simulated universe or Forgotten Hall. Some will look at what this game has to offer and they'll say, hell yeah, more content! While someone like myself, who's all too familiar with Genshin's offerings, will look at this and say, oh yay, more grinding. It's not that I think that grinding on its own is inherently bad, because I would wholeheartedly accept the grind in most games, let alone RPGs. It's the Hoyoverse way of grinding that irks me. Ascension, skills, talents, nodes, light cores, eidolons, and the ever-producing groans of artifacts. I didn't like the system in Genshin, I don't like it here. For me, there are 2 choices I can make here. I can either dedicate whatever's left of my time to another grind fest of a game where I would continually grind for minimal progress, or simply cut my losses. And it's this reason that stands out to me the most compared to others I've stated so far. And I've used this reason for Fate Grand Order, Azure Lane, Love Live, and a bunch of other games before and after. Commitment. I don't normally use hyperbolic statements in my written works as I see them as gross exaggerations. Even with my prior reviews and scripted content, they are within the confines of the topic itself. But for the purposes of this video, I'll make an exception. The world is a continuously revolving mass that will continue to exist for all time. I don't function like that, much like anyone else. Personally, I don't want to waste my time playing games if it's clear that I don't enjoy them as much. I did it with The Witcher 3 and Knights of the Old Republic. It's nothing new. Maybe I'm feeling this way because 2023 just so happens to be the best year in gaming, and aside from Hi-Fi Rush and Starfield, I'm missing out. Or perhaps maybe I've strayed too far away from my scripted roots to the point where I don't simply miss it, I start to regret the decisions I've made so far in my YouTube career. But there's one thing I won't regret: making connections with viewers and simply having fun with them. Even if it can get a little overbearing, but that's the least of my problems. Furthermore, I don't want to commit to playing another gacha RPG made by Hoyoverse where the bulk of the character's strength lies on a player's artifact luck. I didn't like it in Genshin. I'm not going to waste more of my time here. But you bet your ass I'm going to play Zenless Zone Zero at some point. It's inevitable. Regarding that last statement, it likely wasn't necessary to make an entire video on why I don't want to play Honkai Star Rail further than I did. I probably should have recorded a 10-second clip saying I don't want to play it anymore, edit it, upload it, and move on. But I don't want to simply say this game sucks. I want to find other reasons why I don't want to play HSR anymore. Maybe I didn't fall in love with HSR because I haven't played Honkai Impact 3rd as much, and I didn't have that much of an emotional attachment to the callbacks or characters, save for Himiko. Maybe I'm not a fan of Hoyo's take on turn-based RPGs because I was exposed to other games that shaped my taste in the genre, for better or worse. Maybe I miss the storytelling and sense of exploration that Genshin has that isn't present in this game. Or maybe I'm just not into gacha games as much compared to when I started out. Or real life is setting in and I'm just not into games as much as I should. Or at least that was the original intent, or at least that was the original idea. But then I completed Hi-Fi Rush, and I stated in that said video, this game was a whole lot of fun. I enjoyed every single minute of it. Even when there's this large gap of me playing Hi-Fi Rush the last time around to recently, there's quite a lot to enjoy with Hi-Fi Rush. And it was at that moment that I came to the conclusion, it's not that I am tired of gaming. It's not that I'm tired of playing video games. I'm just tired of developers putting in so much content. I'm tired of developers putting in so much artificial content, artificial grinding, to the point where a lot of it doesn't really matter all that much. I am tired of games being drip fed to the consumer content piece by piece to get some level of enjoyment out of it. Not that I'm saying Hoyoverse games are bad, I just don't want to dedicate so much time and effort to multiple games, just stretching myself out thin to every other game out there under the sun and not feel any level of enjoyment out of it. Genshin Impact being the exception, Honkai Star Rail, well, I'm sure you know by now. This has been Opez Gaming. If you like this style of videos, consider liking the video, subscribing for more, and if for whatever reason you don't like this, or if you don't like any of my opinions on HSR, the dislike button ain't that far away. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.